8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS The Voice of Stockton or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Good morning, Stocktonians, and welcome to an all-military episode of Tales and Tips. I'm so honored to have with me today Major Acevedo of Junior ROTC. We are also going to hear from several board members of Disabled American Veterans Charities. We're going to talk about the Patriots Ball, which is the brainchild of Dave Aviles, who's sitting next to me, and Maria Thompkins is chairing the event for this year. All right, let's start first with Dave. Tell us about Disabled American Veterans Charities, what they do in the community, and what the Patriots Ball means to that organization.
Well, Disabled American Veterans Charities is a hands-on, grassroots, boots-on-the-ground organization that helps veterans through their hard times. We'll get them bus passes if they can't travel to make their appointments. We'll feed them if they can't eat. We'll give them meal cards. We'll supply beds. We'll supply transportation. We'll pay their rent, their mortgage. Whatever it is that they need, we try to supply. And we work with other organizations like Catholic Charities in the community to make sure that if their organization exceeds their parameters of help, that we can be there to back them up and support veterans that much more to make sure they have, again, the things that they need. Awesome. And that's all the veterans have to do is bring their DD-214, explain their situation, and if they meet the guidelines of DAV Charities and what we're trying to do, we're right there to help them.
Awesome. And I know in our county there's over 30,000 veterans. How many veterans are you working with on an annual basis?
Oh, geez, to be honest with you, I couldn't give you the exact number of veterans, but we work with, I'd say anywhere from 6 to 8 veterans a day in the office on a regular basis, and then throughout San Joaquin, working with the homeless and disenfranchised veterans, and again we work with the other organizations. So the numbers may overlap, so I don't want to quote any numbers and
Okay.
Somebody turn around and say to me, oh, well, that's not true or whatever. But we work with veterans, like I said, on a daily basis, 24/7.
And if there's a veteran that's in need, how do they contact Disabled American Veterans Charities?
Well, what they would do is they would call our office or see one of us, and I'll give you the number to our office. We're at 10100 Trinity Parkway at the Spanos Building in San Joaquin County off 8 Mile Road. Our number is 209-955-1423. And all they do is call, explain their situation briefly. A DAV DAV charity, representative will return that call, set up an appointment, and have them come in so we can settle their problems. And what we don't do is we don't write checks to veterans. What we do is we work with the organizations or whoever it is that they owe the money to. At times, if we can, we'll try to negotiate it down to a lower amount and then pay that bill.
Wonderful. So you're really helping them with day-to-day life needs, which is magnificent.
Absolutely.
And Maria, you, in addition to working with Disabled American Veterans Charities, you just founded Blue Star Moms, and you're also affiliated with Catholic Charities. So you do a huge amount for veterans in our community. Do you want to talk about the needs and the things that you help with and what it means to you to chair the Patriots Ball this year?
What it means to me to chair is helping the veterans. One of them is seeing everybody together that night of the event. It's amazing. Seeing everybody in their blues, it's an honor just to have them there that night. And seeing the ladies in their gowns, it's such a special event. I think everyone comes out and enjoy themselves. And all the fundraising that we do that night, it actually helps our veterans in our community as well. to meet the needs of our veterans in many ways. Some of them, like David's explained, to help their utilities, deposits. When I say deposits, it could be utility deposits, security deposit, their rents, fix their vehicles. We do that too, like repair it, pay their DMV registration fees, because sometimes they need that registration fee to get to work. Lots of times we don't do that. And another thing we'd like to do for our veterans is support them. And it's something that a lot of people don't do, listen to them, you know. And that night of the event, people get to see who all helps in the community. We all come together. So that's very special for us. We've been working very hard to get to this. We did it last year, and it was very successful.
It was
You
amazing.
were there.
It was
Yes.
amazing.
A lot of people were amazed by how fast we were able to get it. We got it done like within 2 months, Julie. You were there. You want to tell us a little bit about your experience?
Last year was phenomenal, and to me, my greatest memories of the event are the pageantry and watching the look on the veterans' faces as we had the colors presented and as we had the Portsmen sing and the patriotic song and the environment that we had. It was so beautiful. It was so majestic. And it was exciting also to see Dave's dream of having this event come to a reality and the look on your face and how you felt. And this year you're changing it up. You're expanding it. You're upscaling it. So let's talk about that. You're hoping
But
I know
before
to
we
help
go
more
on, I
people.
just want to say that last year Julie was the chair of the event.
Yes.
And it was a very successful event for a groundbreaking event, and it was an opportunity for all of us, you know, not only to honor and celebrate the service of our veterans and our current military, but also to take a look at what we're doing in the community with all the special interest groups that participated and how we're moving forward in the community and bringing everyone together.
Uniting people.
Right,
Yes.
to bringing everyone together. And not only celebrating and honoring, but to rejoice, if you will, for the accomplishments that we're making, and a really happy thanks instead of just mourning, but thanking the community
Yes.
and celebrating together and coming together for one night
It's very
to
important.
really
Definitely.
honor, celebrate, and enjoy the accomplishments we've made from all the special interest groups in the community.
And several people were awarded last year, and I know you have people that you're going to award this year. Do you want to talk about that as well? Who you're
Oh yeah,
gonna
we're
highlight
excited, you
and
know, because
celebrate?
there's so many people in the community that really take a back seat to what they do. But it's my belief that it's important that we know who they are without overexposing them, but know who they are, because they not only contribute to the community, but they set example to what you can do and what you can do for veterans and for the entire community. People like John Couts, who honors his family and the service of his brother, and this man stays in the background, yet he supports veterans tremendously. He puts out monuments all over in honor of veterans at no cost and very quietly. And I don't know if I just stepped on my tongue here, but I just think he's a wonderful man. People like Andy Prokop, who was
phenomenal.
who was a gunner and a crew chief
Yes.
during Vietnam.
Very strong in our communities.
People like
for everyone.
people like Sandy Huber, who built a peace garden here in the Stockton community in representation of the services and the view of the peace that we're trying to achieve, and who the sister city is actually in Atlanta. People like Scott Lavoti, who another gentleman who's has a successful business in the community, and he's always there to help. He's always there to contribute to the community in whatever capacity, whether it be working for the community, whether it be contributing monetarily to the community, and him and his staff and the whole company, what they do. And I know, again, I may be stepping on my tongue, but they help us tremendously. And I think by recognizing them, it sets an example for others who want to participate, not to be recognized, but to be part of this growing camaraderie that we've developed. And we are growing. And I'm very thankful to you, Julie, for what you did last year as chair of the event. It was a groundbreaking. It was an inaugural event. And then to Maria Carmen, because she grabbed the bull by the horns and says, you know what, we're going to make it bigger and better this year, and we're having it at the Stockton Arena.
SAS is helping.
Carrie Sass, Sass Promotions is working with us, and we're getting a lot of exposure and a lot of community involvement. And not just here in Stockton. I mean, Tracy, Modesto, Sacramento.
Awesome. It's a San Joaquin County and beyond.
Great.
But
so I'm thankful to you guys.
We also want to say thank you to our committee. We have a great committee.
Why don't you name the committee members?
Yes, so I'll name some if I can remember everyone. So we got Lance McCann, Yvonne Wills.
He has a show here too, in case you guys haven't seen it.
Yeah. So we got Yvonne Wills, Richard Lopez, Narissa Albento, and
Liz
Saldivar, Stephen Pacheco,
Pam,
Vince West, Pan Peachy, Paul Peachy. I'm trying to go around the table from when we have our meetings.
We got Bob Benz. Who else? I know I'm missing somebody. If I'm missing you, I apologize. But there's so many people involved.
We have quite a few people involved.
Awesome.
Sorry we can't remember you all. We do appreciate everybody.
So when is the
we
event?
Got Julie.
And we're forgetting Kevin Dobson.
Kevin Dobson.
Yeah,
and is Liz helping too?
Liz Saldivar.
Okay,
yes, she
awesome.
is. She helps us a lot.
And it's October 27th, right, Maria?
Yes, and the event is October 27th. Can we show?
Yes, you can show that. So
this is our logo. If this is, I don't know.
Go ahead and put it here for right now.
Our logo. I don't know. I can't see.
How much are the tickets?
The tickets are $125 per person.
How do they purchase tickets?
And you can purchase the tickets by going to SAS. You can call DAV Charities of San Joaquin at 209-955-1423. And if you want to become a sponsor, we also have sponsor packages that would help us tremendously. We have them by tiers. Please give us a call and we'll let you know what sponsor packages we have. We also can bring them to you.
How can they call you? How can they reach you?
They could call me, contact me at 209-405-4782.
And what are the hours of the event, and say the date again?
Well, the save the date is for Stockton Arena, and it's on October 27th at 5 p.m. We hope to see everyone there. We're so excited.
Black tie, is it?
And it's a black tie event. Again, dress blues if you can. We are looking forward to those.
Get your tickets quick too, because they're really they're going quickly. And this is now because of what you ladies have done. It's really now a premier event for San Joaquin County. Yes. So we're getting all kinds of organizations and people, and to honor these individuals that have come out and supported us, like Andy Procol, like Joan Couch, like Scott Lavoti, like Sandy Huber, come out and show them their support also, because they've been wonderful in what they've done.
We will have our active military there. Our recruiters will be there too, and their dress blues. It's going to be very nice.
And you have a Gold Star family that you're working on setting up to honor as well.
Yes, we will not mention their names right now.
That's okay. And for those of you that don't know, a Gold Star family is a family that has lost a veteran in combat.
A loved one, yes.
A loved one.
Fallen soldier. So we always keep them in our prayers, and we always want to recognize who they are. It's very important for us. You know, that's.
And we'll come back and talk more about Blue Star and Gold Star families. I want to now hear from Major Acevedo, who's here to talk about Junior ROTC. And for those of you that don't know what that is, please explain what that organization does, how it's connected to the military, and how it's building our future generations.
Sure. Thank you so much, Shirley. I wanted to begin by thanking each and every one of you, Dave and Maria. I really cherish the opportunity to be here with you. To answer your question about JROTC, what is it? Well, JROTC is a congressionally mandated program that began back in 1916. The Army started putting this program in about 6 schools back then, and the purpose was to motivate young people to be better citizens. Well, the program started growing quite significantly in 1964. Today, there are over 1,700 schools in the United States that have JROTC programs, with currently about 300,000 students enrolled in JROTC programs. So it's a pretty big program.
What ages of students?
Well, so they're large, majority of them are in high schools. So we're talking 14 to 17, maybe as late as 18. However, there are even a few junior high schools that have JROTC programs in them.
Awesome.
In our local area, Stockton Unified has 2 programs, one at Franklin High School, one at Edison High School. In the larger community, we have about 5 or 6 other programs at Western Union, Western Ranch, Eastern Union, Lathrop, Manteca, and a few other schools, Lincoln.
Lincoln High.
I guess it's important to point out that the program began by the Army in 1916, but in 1964 it was opened up to all the services. So all the services support ROTC programs with slight variations, but generally the concept remains the same, to motivate young people to be better citizens.
So is it a track at all for them to join the military, or it's just structure for them?
That is a very good question, and I thank you for asking that. It is not focused on military service. I want to make sure that that's clear. There are a few factions out there that like to distract from the power and effectiveness of this program simply by pointing out that it's a entry into military service. And that is one thing that I personally feel very strongly about, in that I do not engage my students from the position of talking them into military service. For me, that's a very personal decision. What I am insistent upon is that they develop a good moral code, a good ethical code, and a real sense of community and giving to that community.
Awesome.
To make up the shortfall of resources that many communities have today.
That's really important that you said that. And so what are some of the tenets that you're teaching the students? What are skills that you hope they come away with from this program? And how long is the program? How long can they be involved in it?
So a student can be involved in the program for all 4 years of their high school career. They would generally begin at the leadership education training level 1 level in their freshman year, where they learn the primary functions of government. They learn the very essential components of military discipline by learning how to put together their uniforms, how to salute, how to march. These are lessons that they take to heart in order to conduct themselves in a more disciplined manner, that, you know, it helps them navigate the difficulties of high school when they're part of something that is organized and they can feel part of it.
Well, and those skills carry on to any job that they're going to have. You're expected at a job to look professional, to be on time, to work as a team. And so those are skills that they can use for anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. Early on, they will learn about wellness, about fitness, about relieving and managing their own stress to be successful. They'll learn the disciplines required to be academically proficient. But mostly, we also play a role of the communal parent, per se, that is in their lives. For many of these students, it's an important role to fill because of challenges that they face personally at home and in the community and in their high schools, where they need a role model to be there that's interested in how they're doing, not only in their class, but in every other class.
Awesome.
I speak to the other teachers. I get after my students who demonstrate disrespect to any of the other teachers, because they have to learn that there is a way to subordinate yourself, and if you learn how to subordinate yourself, you learn how to lead.
Awesome. Wonderful. And is there any required GPA level that they have to maintain to be in JROTC?
There is a requirement for them to remain a part of JROTC. There is a GPA requirement, but that is a guideline that is given to the senior Army instructors. I have a few kids who are achieving lower than C averages. However, by virtue of their demonstrated attention to just being good kids, they get to remain in the program.
Awesome.
But of course, they feel the heat for not having their GPA, and so they have to do after-school tutoring programs that
So
are given to them by
You're
other
not
students.
isolating them.
Right. It is only when it is a combination of lack of discipline, lack of ethical, moral behavior, along with a low declined GPA, that they would be removed from the program.
Okay.
You know, I find it amazing because all through school, you go to school and you get this education, and they teach you history, and they teach you math, and they teach you English and all that. But no school teaches life skills. And what JROTC does, it teaches you life skills, how to address people, how to talk to people, how to present yourself. And again, developing a good moral compass with ethical values and so on. So I think it's very, very important. And I would suggest that anyone, whether they be a student, teacher, parent, whatever, look into what JROTC is doing, because these are skills that we can all use.
Yes.
These are skills that we could benefit by not only contributing as volunteers, but pushing the agenda forward to have our children learn those life skills that we don't always have the time to give them. How much time do they spend in the community in comparison to the time they spend at home? So if you have an opportunity to develop these skills and you're out there more times than not, or in greater time value, then here's a program that can turn around and teach you life skills.
Definitely.
David, you're absolutely spot on. In the first week of our classes this year, the first thing they learned when they came through my door is to provide the greeting of the day, because that's what civilized people do. They greet each other, so I taught my kids to say, "Good morning, sir." And then I encouraged
awesome.
them to use that with every other teacher.
That's
So they
awesome.
are being taught that. They're being taught how to handshake, 2 pumps, look you in the eye when they're doing it, have a sense of self-worth. They will be taught how to set a place setting. They will be taught how to conduct a social event, the icebreaker, through the formal dinner, the receiving line. They will learn all of these things
Awesome.
that
That's
make
wonderful.
them contributing
huge.
members of a developed society.
Yeah, and you know, it instills this mindfulness into people around you, because I've spoken with kids before, you know, and they have a view just from themselves. But with developing these skills, they have a
outward.
mindfulness of other people, their perception of them, how they conduct themselves,
Right.
and the values that they're trying to put forward. So I think it's
Yes.
wonderful that you're doing
They
that.
look
Yes.
at life differently. And one thing that you said earlier is that a lot of the students don't have good guidance. Unfortunately, in our community, a lot of students are raised in single-parent households, or they might be raised by their grandparents, and having a role model and a structure can completely change their life. For students that are going to schools that don't have the JROTC program, can they still participate at it at another school?
Yes, there are protocols in place for students from homeschool to other high schools that want to be part of the program, where
Right.
they can coordinate to be enrolled in a program.
And how do they do that? Who would they contact?
They would start with their school counselor,
Okay.
and then I would meet with the school counselor and along with our school and the district to arrange the enrollment, and so the credit is given to the student.
Awesome.
What a
Excellent.
motivating opportunity
huge.
for everybody out there, anybody that's listening out there, you know, to learn these life skills. I know grown-ups that don't have these life skills.
Yes.
So, you know, to absolutely get involved and help our youth and help these programs, get involved. Learn these skills. If you don't know them already, learn these skills and motivate your children to participate in these programs to learn these skills. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful program.
We also encourage life after high school, university, colleges, junior
Great.
colleges. A few of the kids do end up want to be motivated to be in the military.
You know what was a funny thing, and I'll say this briefly. When I went to high school and I graduated high school, they called it a commencement exercise. And I never realized what it meant. And commencement meant this is the beginning of your life. And if you want to establish a good beginning of your life, JROTC would be a great
Great
program
way.
to learn those life skills so that when you finish high school, you have a good handle on what's out there and what life is like.
Sure. You know, I think it's important to say, though, that JROTC is not for all kids. So there are some kids who will do fine without JROTC. They're already academically motivated. They don't necessarily gravitate to hard and fast rules of how to conduct themselves in the discipline. However, there are a number of kids who don't want to have anything to do with JROTC simply because it's about rules and it's about following structures and ordinances. Those are the kids that really need to be paid attention to, because left to their own devices, they really limit their ability to succeed.
Well, I think, so that would be a personal question that they would have to ask themselves, but it's good to know it's out there.
Definitely.
And it's good to know that people are out there to support
Right.
them. So I thank you for that.
Thank you.
And for the kids that go on to college from your program, are they eligible for any scholarships because they
Yes,
participated?
I'm actually working closely now with Fresno State University. I've got a couple of students that I've kept my eye on that I believe are going to thrive on going to Fresno on a scholarship full ride
Great.
into their ROTC program. Again, it's something they elect to do. I don't
Great.
push them into anything simply because there's obligations obviously that come with ROTC scholarships.
That's good, because it helps them not feel like they have to go to the military.
Yes.
A lot of them
I'm
they have to
actually
go to
working with
military.
a sophomore now and his parents and Congressman
McNerney.
McNerney.
to start building an application packet to West Point.
Awesome.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
Excellent.
we've met with Jerry a couple of times. Jerry, yeah, he's a good man. He's a good man.
Well, for me, my experience, I've had 3 kids in JROTC. 2 are in the Navy, and my daughter's JROTC, so I really appreciate JROTC. I'm a fan of JROTC, so, and I'm a fan of yours, so
Thank
you've
you.
been doing an
Awesome.
It
amazing
can be a
job.
very strong program.
Yes.
It sure can.
Excellent.
It's just
It
another
really helps.
opportunity. It's,
Yes.
I think it's
Awesome.
great.
JROTC helps our community a lot, and I know that we, as a community, have a lot of need for our cadets when we have events. So that's something.
Let's
Can you
talk
share
about
with
that.
that?
So what events have they participated at?
So last year, I came in, like as I mentioned earlier, I came into the program late last year. I just retired a year ago after 36 years of service. So coming into the program, I had to put something together real quick, and one of the things that stood out to me was this focus on volunteerism, volunteering in your community. So my kids have worked at St. Mary's dining room table a few times. We have gone to few of the elementary schools in the area to conduct athletic events and for the kids, put on athletic. This year we are starting that off right off the bat. We're already married to one of our local junior high schools to get kids into, actually an elementary school, to get my kids into a reading program with their first and second graders.
Oh, wow.
And also
Wonderful.
doing PE events with the fifth and sixth graders. We will be doing the St. Mary's again, and along with pet shelters and other
Oh, nice.
organizations.
Yay.
We want to do some work with, I want my kids to meet and hear some of the stories of our World War II veterans, the few that are left, because this is their last chance to put real people to history, along with Korean War veterans, Vietnam War veterans. And so we started talking, I started talking to David about that, and it looks
Awesome.
like he can help me out in
Cool.
getting real people into history with this.
Awesome. And I have some suggestions too. So there's several things that you said that I have some overlap with. At St. Mary's, I have my vaccine clinic there, and St. Mary's is such an awesome facility for helping people that are on the streets to get their life back. And reading is so fundamental in our community. I don't know if you're aware that our third graders, a huge percent, are not reading at the national levels. And so the fact that you're reaching out and having your students go into classrooms is huge. The Rotary Club of Stockton has the World War II memorial that we set up. We do have a veteran in our club that's from World War II that we actually honored last year at the inaugural Patriots Ball, and potentially we can set up maybe to have the students work on the memorial and connect with our veteran as well.
This is huge.
Jim Woodward, I should give
One
a
of
shout out to him.
one of my motivations for coming here today was to talk about some of the resource shortfalls that my JROTC program and the other JROTC programs all face, and these things can be met not just by monetary support, but by partnering with organizations that
Definitely.
can provide venues for my students to be a part of something bigger. This includes employers who can invite my students to come in and learn how to manage for a day, a front line, so that they can get some real life visibility on, and I'm talking like the Amazons, I'm talking about the port, I'm talking about some of our more significant members.
Well, boy, are you in luck. Because one of the things that we've been able to do this year, and I'm going to mention Tino Adami's name. Tino Adami's a veteran leader in this community, and we work closely with the American Legion and the VFW, Bob Appler, Dr. Elizabeth Blanchard, and so on.
Both of them were honored last year.
Yeah, and some of the
at
people that
Patriots
were
Ball.
honorees last year, and they've supported us, and they've opened venues for us to bring in Discovery Challenge, JROTC, and so on. And we're working on, well, I can't tell you about that event yet, but there's a couple of events that we're working on that are going to be absolutely wonderful if JROTC participates.
The
Excellent.
other thing that we're working on is to create a community emergency response team within, starting with my JROTC program, but export it to the others. The FEMA has a program called Teen CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. Teen CERT is where kids are taught first aid, light rescue, things that make them feel part of a bigger responsibility to their community.
Right.
Of course, with all of these opportunities comes the requirement for transportation, ergo my other resource shortfall. We're very extremely limited on transportation. What can help us is adults who volunteer to help chaperone kids, mentor kids, come to the school, help us transport numbers of students to locations, walk around, help supervise. For example, St. Mary's has a requirement of 1 adult per 5 students. And
It's
so
hard for you to meet that.
I will say this, that my experience with my students has been that their parents are not equipped to give of their time like other schools or communities where their in a better socioeconomic level.
Mhm.
Here the parents are buried.
No, and I
And
think it's
so-
happening in a lot of schools with JROTC.
Right.
Because
and-
I do volunteer at my daughter's school, and I go to the doorstep to pick up the cadets, and the parents are like, oh, we have something else to do.
Right.
So sometimes it's parents not understanding cadets' duties
Right.
and the responsibilities as a cadet and what they're doing in our community.
Right.
So
And-
I'm hoping that this is helping
Right,
as
and
well.
a lot of times, so it's simply a single parent or a grandmother raising a
Mhm.
child, and they don't have the ability to leave the home, or the dysfunction that is associated with some of these kids.
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to RTD and say, RTD, you
A
know, if you're
challenge.
listening to this,
If
here's a
we could-
challenge
Nate
for, you know,
Knox.
So
If we could get
Yeah.
partners in RTD, if we can get retired
Mhm.
folks that
Yeah.
are willing to
I was
give
gonna
up a
ask
few
that.
hours
You-
during the school
You don't
day.
have a van?
How would they reach?
The school has vans, but, you know, they have two vans, but
the program needs
volleyball,
one.
football,
Yeah.
wrestling, track.
You know, it would be great if we had a
everybody's
van that
competing for
said
this.
JROTC on it, and
Mhm.
it came from RTD again, so we could celebrate it and
A
stuff.
few of them.
You know,
We do a
and
few
because
of
this
them.
would be wonderful, you know, to help our youth, our veterans of the community, and their parents.
How
These
would it-
kids, yeah.
How would a community member reach you if they're willing to volunteer to drive students? How can
Um,
they reach you?
Well, they can always reach me through my email.
Okay, what's that?
M Acevedo, that's Macevedo at StocktonUSD.net.
And I'm going to throw it out there too. If you want to reach Major Acevedo, and you forget that number, you can reach me at Disabled American Veterans Charities of San Joaquin County, and let us know that you want to volunteer or help with JROTC, so that we can help our kids.
Definitely.
And what school are you from?
I'm sorry.
Do you want to say what school you're from?
Yes, Franklin High School, Junior ROTC.
Awesome.
But I, want to shout out for Weston and for Franklin and for, these are all, and Lincoln, and even though they're
Union.
Navy.
That's-
But hey, we're all in it for the kids.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
whatever your local JROTC program is, they sure could use your help.
Yes, because Tracy, for a lot of people that don't know, Tracy does have a school that has JROTC. Manteca has another one. Everybody remembers Stockton, but there's these other schools. Lodi has one too, right? So please reach out to your nearest JROTC school and please help them.
And let's come back to Maria. I'd like you to talk about Blue Star Moms, the organization that Delta Blue Star Moms, that you recently founded as a nonprofit, and talk about what its role is in the community, why you founded it, and what you're hoping to do.
Delta Patriots.
Yes, Delta
Yes.
Patriots Blue Star Moms. We're congressionally affiliated. We are very happy to be here in the county. We've been able to help a lot of families, and via Facebook, Delta Patriots Blue Star Moms Facebook, and we have a .org. We've been able to reach out to a lot of our overseas deployed, and been able to communicate with them and talk to them about their needs.
And you're supporting families
We're
of
supporting-
active soldiers.
We're supporting the families as well as the deployed and the veterans. In our community, we support everyone that's military, let's put it that way, because the way we say it is very abroad.
Good.
It's a lot more.
It means you're
you know.
helping more people.
Yes, we're helping a lot more. When I started, I thought I was going to be helping just one city, and then it started expanding. And now
Because the needs are huge.
I'm finding myself on Facebook, on iMessenger, chatting, and sadly, we need more people to come and help us because the need is huge. Our deployed are they're needing a lot of help. They need somebody to talk to, and sometimes they need help with not even for themselves. They need help to help those that they have overseas. I'm finding that they're helping kids that are overseas. I didn't even know that. Were you ever deployed?
Yes, a few times.
did you ever find out, I'm sorry I'm turning to you, but this is very important because we're talking to people that are overseas and they're asking us to send things for kids, shoes, clothing, coats and stuff like that. And I never understood that and knew about that before. But I'm learning that through Delta Pages Blue Star Moms. And I always thought about care packages, right? But the needs is a lot more than that. It's not
Yes.
only even talking to someone or supporting each other, but it's listening to our military too.
Quick little story. I had some funds that some of my siblings helped raise in a local area that they sent to me to help me buy a cow. While we
Awesome.
were deployed in Kosovo, we were doing a peacekeeping mission there. A family's cow got stolen. In some of these rural communities of Eastern Europe, a cow could mean the difference between surviving
death.
the winter or not.
Wow.
The milk and stuff. Their cow got stolen, and so the local municipality leaders, were discussing some of the local problems and stuff. And I was leading a team in a civil military kind of a liaison structure, a small team. We had some Polish and some Ukrainian officers on this team. And we learned about this difficulty, and as a gesture of goodwill, we raised the money to buy a cow for this family.
Wow.
And so we brought a cow in our truck and dropped them off.
That's wonderful.
And,
That's huge. That's awesome.
It's
That
just,
is.
it's amazing how, it's very difficult to describe. I'm sure you know. War is devastating. It devastates communities at every level. There are no more Rotary clubs. There are no schools functioning. There is nothing. There are no lifelines. There's no structures in place. People's identities are robbed from them because there is no way of verifying whether your driver's license is real or not. Or everything just goes away.
Wow.
And so when you're left reduced to these most essential needs of whether you're going to eat or not, or whether you're going to survive a winter with a coat, whether the orphans in orphanages who preceded the war, who are now neglected completely, are going to make it, rests on people like us back home. It rests on kids who learned about the importance of community and junior ROTC, who grew up to be adults, to recognize and think beyond the lines of what they see on a daily basis, to know that needs are international. They're not restricted to their community here. That's one of the lessons that my students get, is comparing their difficulties from here in this community to difficulties around the world.
It puts
Wow.
things into perspective.
Puts
And
things into perspective.
And
Maintains
it gives a
perspective.
prolific view of what the military has become. And not just a military force for war, but almost an ambassadorship
Humanitarian.
for
For
peace
hope.
and humanitarian services.
hope.
Excuse me?
and hope.
And hope that we can
And
provide.
these lessons are brought into the classroom by retired military professionals, NCOs and officers who served and got to see the world from the bottom of a fighting position at times, that can bring back this perspective into a classroom, which
Wow.
helps these kids.
Well, that's even educating for myself as a Blue Star mom, because when I get these messages, like the very first time I received a message saying, is there any way you could get donations for these kids? And I was like, wait, that's a twist, because I was told Blue Star Moms does care packages, we do supporting for one another, and we support the siblings and grandparents and all these other things, but I never thought about we're going to be supporting people in other countries, and that you rather receive things for others than for yourself, and I'm getting them more and more every day. And
Wow.
You made me
sometimes
think
I sit
of,
there and cry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes I'm sitting there in my bed and reading these messages and I'm crying and I'm thinking, oh my God, their heart is somewhere
And
else.
see, and
these
it's
are
not the
our
military
US
mission
troops,
to attend to these small issues. The military's trying to change things at the highest levels, the strategic levels and the operational levels. But at the tactical levels, it's a kid who's wearing a uniform that saw this need, and he texted the Blue Star mom and said, "Hey, can you help me? I'm a kid on." This is different from the strategic corporal that took a bad picture at a prison in Abu Ghraib that brought so much discredit upon the service. It's these kids that don't get credit for reaching back and saying, "Hey, I need to help these people." And there's thousands of them doing it. I worked, I saw it. I commanded these kids who all had their heartstrings tugged by the situation that they saw.
You
It's
know, and not only
easy.
that they saw, but and I'm going to
felt
say
it
this.
too.
I don't think I've ever shared this with anybody. But when I was in Nam, we went with Corman, and we went to Chuahoy camp, and you know what Chuahoy is, right?
Mhm.
So we went to the Chuahoy camps, and these were children wounded, with open wounds. But the corpsmen and the servicemen like myself, we'd go into these camps and we'd help these people through medical aid and so on. And that's something that the rest of the world needs to realize, that we're not just involved in war. We're involved in humanitarian and in providing services to the people that, you know, that we've affected.
Right.
And it's important that people know that we're not just a war effort. We're also we're obligated to promote a peacekeeping force also.
This country is blessed, but with that blessing comes a responsibility.
Yes,
Definitely,
absolutely.
definitely. And something Dave said earlier when we were talking about the values of JROTC, he mentioned that it helps to change perspective for students from focusing on themselves to looking out in the world and seeing how other people are affected. And to me, one of the values I've always found in volunteering, and I encourage people to volunteer, is because when you see what other people are experiencing, it really changes your perspective on the significance of your problems.
The wonderfulness and until you've done it, I don't know if you can understand it. The wonderfulness of giving, the wonderfulness of helping is such a reward.
It is.
Yes,
It's
it's
such a
huge.
reward.
It
I
is.
mean, it really makes you.
It really does.
It invigorates me.
It really does.
It's something I
And
really
it gives
enjoy
you
doing.
energy to keep going.
Yes.
Because sometimes people ask, like, where do you get the energy? And I'm like,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
To make a
It-
difference.
Yeah.
But at least I know I'm doing something. I'm not
Yes.
sitting in a couch just watching TV.
And to
Or
Blue Star
complaining
moms and all
about
the
it.
moms and
Yeah.
the
You
ladies
know.
of these organizations, what they do. Now everybody's got a mom, you know, or had a mom, but these moms care. They care from that mother nurturing aspect to the community aspect of doing things. And when you get mothers motivated, there's no stopping them. There is
Yay.
no stopping
They're
them. These
superheroes.
they are. They are. They're
Especially in the
superheroes.
days we're living now, there's too much self-interest going
Yes.
on around us, and from people who are in high positions demonstrating a lack of empathy and a lack
Yeah, that's a
of-
shame. That's a shame.
No, it's
That's a
And
not.
shame.
so we can be Roman decline, or we can try to stop them.
And unfortunately, we're coming to the end of the hour. Let's go around the table. Any final last comments? We'll start with you.
No,
Major.
I just wanted to thank you all for this great opportunity, and my program exists to help the kids.
And once again, how can a parent or an interested family member reach out to JROTC and enroll their
Well,
student?
they can contact Franklin High School Junior ROTC program by reaching me at M. Acevedo, that's MACEVEDO, at StocktonUSD.net.
Awesome. And Maria?
And for Patriots Ball, please contact us today for your tickets at Disabled American Veterans Charities of San Joaquin at 209-955-1423. And Pam Peachy would be answering your phone call, or you can contact myself, Maria Thompkins, at 209-405-4782.
Awesome. And what about Blue Star Moms contact info?
Okay. And for Delta Patriots Blue Star Moms, thank you, Julie. if you would like to join us, please contact me at 209-405-4782. We would be happy to have you all join us.
And for me, I just want to say, you know, support veterans, support your community, support our children, become part of something that's great. And that's what the veterans in our community is pulling together to make it a better world, to make it a better community.
And Dave, can you give a quick shout out to some of the other organizations that you work with that are also supporting veterans in our community?
Oh, absolutely. You know, you have the American Legions, you have the Carl Ross Post, you have the Ed Stewart Post 803, you have Luneta Post 52, that's the VFW, you have Catholic Charities, you have the Salvation Army. These are just a few of the organizations.
Dignity's Alcove.
VFW, Manteca.
That's right. That's right. And I mean, go to your area, and you're going to find all these wonderful, wonderful people. I can't remember Lisa Poff's organization.
Oh, Patriots Supporting Tracy Warriors.
And that's
Great
another organization. And they're all over the place. I would say to our community, please get involved. It'll give you direction, it'll give you purpose, and it'll bring you happiness to share.
Our Tracy community, Lodi community, Manteca community, Stockton
Lathrop,
community,
they're
and
all
San
out there.
Joaquin veterans, we are all coming together. We are so excited to have everyone come together with United Veteran Commission. Thank you so much, Julie, for everything you do for us.
And I appreciate all of you being here today. And to me, the exciting thing also, and we didn't mention that the Vietnam War memorial was here last year, the wall, the traveling wall. And what I loved about having that here was the different organizations came together. And I feel like you, especially Dave, embraced that feeling of organizations coming together, and it's now moving forward. We now have a county veterans organization, and we have hope, to me, in seeing so many groups coming to support the veterans. One last thing that I'd like to mention is, unfortunately, a lot of our veterans feel isolated. A lot of them commit suicide routinely. I wanted to give the phone number for the suicide hotline if there's any people in need. It's 1-800-273-8255. And any final comments?
You know, my brothers and sisters out there, if you're contemplating anything, taking your life, think about this. You sacrificed for your country, and you're willing to give your life for your country. You're willing to die for your country. But now your country needs you. So be willing to live for your country.
We do.
Be willing
That's
to
beautiful.
contribute to your country. The experiences you suffered, the experiences you've had, we can benefit from those experiences. Don't take your life, give your life, and help our community.
And there's people there wanting to help you as well.
Just call us.
And your life has value. You heard earlier, there's students that want to hear from you. We need your guidance. And there's organizations that will support you and help you.
We love you. We need you. Please stay with us.
All right. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I am the voice of Stockton. You are the voice of Stockton. We are the voice of Stockton. Let's make it a great day.